Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at not a new figure. It's not that old, but it's not new at all, but I finally got one, and I wanted to review it because I think a lot of people might be interested in this, and it is the holiday season, so you might want to gift it to somebody or gift it to yourself. And so I wanted to review it. What the heck? Okay, so this is the T2, the best Terminator movie by far. By the way, question of the day, which is the best Terminator movie? I'm curious if any of you people who started on the first movie prefer it to the second. I started on the second because I was a kid when it came out, and I was not alive when the first one came out. I think. I might have been, but just barely. Anyway, for me, T2 is the T movie. Let me know which one you think is the T movie. If you say anything after T2, we're going to have a talk. Okay, so this figure is pretty cool. Not perfect, but worth talking about. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, before we look at the figure, I do want to show you my package. It's a standard Mafex packaging, basically. Nice big window on the front. It's good photo down here. Nothing particularly noteworthy. It does have sort of the Terminator 2 vibe with that kind of basic, but with the red line, retro sort of look to it. Yeah, you know, it's nothing crazy here, but it's perfectly fine. I do like the backs of their packages, the way they do the kind of collage sort of thing. Kinda, sorta. It's pretty good. Okay, so I think this might look a little better than the actual final product, but maybe it's just the angle and the lighting. No, the color's better too. Anyway, it's a good package. Okay, let's move on to the actual figure. Here he is. And I do have it kind of bright, guys, because he's mostly black plastic. So I'm sorry if he's a little bit washed out in the face. Let's see when I zoom in. It's probably going to be... yeah, it'll be okay. We'll get by. But yeah, he's basically black, so I had to... it's not overexposed. I have too much light coming in, though. Okay, so anyway, he's just shy of 16.5 centimeters. That's going to make him just shy of 6.5 inches. If you're really stretching it, here he is. Oops. Here he is up against Darwin. If Darwin could just get into a normal pose once in a while, that would be just wonderful. So, I don't think Arnold's especially tall. So I guess he fits in at least well enough. You could fudge it if you needed to. I didn't think to look up how tall Arnold actually is. I would bet money I'm taller than him, but he probably maybe has more muscle than me at this age anyway. Okay, so it's a Terminator 2 figure in the normal look. He's not all beat up or anything like that. And I have to say, my first impression is it looks pretty darn good. Now, he does have the jacket on, so it kind of hides a lot of his physique. That is what Arnold was known for back then. But I still think it has a pretty good look. I think maybe, just maybe, they don't have enough chest. Even with the jacket on. From the side it looks okay, but from the front he does look less imposing, but certainly not by a large degree, and I think once you pose him it'll be fine. So the important thing is, will he be able to pose in a natural way, because he is just a human, ironically, in real life, even though he's a robot here. But yeah, he looks good. I mean, it's bare black plastic, but he's wearing leather jacket, leather pants that should be this finish. So I don't mind it. Would I like a little bit more shading or weathering or something? Yes. But it's still pretty good looking, and then we do have the finer details that are in there, the zippers and buttons and things, and it's enough. It's certainly enough, and the sculpt is detailed enough to carry it through. We have some texturing on the undershirt, and then we have the face, which I do think... we'll leave it... should we leave it dark? No. Well, we'll brighten it up a little bit. I do think that's a really good likeness. And the paint job is certainly good enough to carry it through. I'm very, very pleased with that. It's not perfect. You can see around the ear it's a little janky, and there's a little scuff thing up here on the front. But overall, this is a good-looking Arnold Schwarzenegger. I said it funny, I know. Terminator, T-800 in clothing. It's a pretty darn good-looking figure. Not perfect by any means, but I would argue the best-looking one so far. NECA has done a few. I personally think I prefer this. Plus, it's a different scale. So, I'm going to give his aesthetic rating a 9 out of 10. It's pretty darn good. I'm very pleased with it. Now, as far as accessories go, get ready. Hold on to your butts. We have the normal head, then we have the other normal head, one with glasses, one without, and that is a damn good likeness. Every once in a while, Mafex hits the likeness just like you wouldn't believe. And this is one of those times. This is excellent. This is a very, very good head sculpt. Paint, sculpt, everything. It's a wonderful portrait, so that's great. As for hands, you get all the hands. Everything you would need for this look for Arnold. At first I thought, why don't we have the hand from the end of the movie? And then I remembered, oh, it's a different release. So that's why. But lots and lots of hands. And then as for the other accessories, you do get the box of flowers. I don't remember it being gold. I don't really like the way this is done with the flower sticker on there, by the way, but it's funny how the brain works. I remember it being a white box. Maybe I'll have to check and see if I'm right and they're wrong. I doubt it. So you get the box of flowers for the 2 shotguns. You can't actually open the box, or at least I can't. I tried with all my strength. I cannot get that box open. But you do get the regular shotgun and then the one where he's it's not really racking the slide. It's not a slide. I don't know. Cocking it, I guess. I don't know what you call it with that kind of shotgun. Anyway, you get those. You get the 1911. That looks really, really nice. You get the standard grenade launcher, which looks pretty darn good. And then you get the street sweeper, which is pretty cool looking. I think that's kind of cool. And then you get the minigun and the backpack and the ammo belt. So, yeah, it's everything you need for this Arnold, really. Other than... I was going to make a joke about him talking to John about weird stuff, but I don't need to do that, so it doesn't matter. Okay, yeah, it's a good accessory set. 10 out of 10. What else? Blast effects, I guess. So let's say 9 out of 10. Or a motorcycle, I guess, would be the only additional accessories needed. So let's go, or like, you know what would be really cool? Man, they should have made this a super deluxe release where you can take off his jacket and arms, pop on different arms, and have him where he's cutting his hand open at the Miles Dyson house. That would have been such a cool set of accessories, but that's way above and beyond. Did they make a release like that? I want a t-shirt Arnold with his robot hand sticking out. I'm gonna have to look into that now. That's a good idea, Mafex. You listening if you didn't do it? Okay. Articulation. Ball pegs throughout. Look at that. Man, ball pegs are the way to go for necks. You can just move them. You don't have to do any weird shimmying. You don't have to take the head off and adjust it. Ball hinges suck. Ball pegs for necks are the way to go. Look at just whatever you want him to do. Very, very nicely done. No crazy poses, and his hair gets in the way, but that's going to happen regardless of the joint. So that is fine with me. I love that. Shoulders on this guy suck. Just going to put that out there. I mean, they're not like the worst thing in the world, and once you pose him, it'll be okay. Don't put him in a T pose, and he won't look goofy. But the shoulders are skinny up here to try to make them go down all the way here. They don't quite go down all the way. It's good enough. But you don't get tons of really good range. It's just good enough. Like, it's very basic functional articulation. It's a ball peg that goes into a butterfly that is basically worthless, and the ball peg basically doesn't move around that much, and the ball hinge is fine, but you can't really even use the bicep swivel. Oh, that's built into it. It's very, very tight. I had to pop the arms off to try to get it to move. So yeah, very, very limited. You do get the double jointed elbow, which is functional. That's perfectly fine. But there's no extra bicep swivel down there, so getting him to hold his guns the way you want him to may be a problem. But man, that is unfortunate about that bicep swivel. You really have to crank on it. I guess you'll be able to pose him well enough, but it definitely should have been better. A little bit freer shoulder would have been great. Okay, so you saw the elbows, you saw the shoulders. The wrists are standard wrists. Those are fine. I like that they didn't use a black ball in there. That's good. That's good. Little ball hinge. Alright, for the torso, I'm guessing this doesn't move much. His jacket's pretty form-fitting, though it's not super thick. There's just not a lot you can really do in that torso. Even if you open it up, yeah, you're not getting much done in that torso. So just expect it have some range, but not a ton. And then the lower torso has a little bit more, but even then his jacket gets in the way in the back. So his torso's not doing much. It's really just supporting his limbs. Alright, for the hips, we have the hinged ball pegs, unfortunately, but I don't think it's going to matter on this guy. Arnold in T2 basically just stands and shoots, so he'll be fine either way. Like, he doesn't really need the articulation. Legs don't go out very far, not even 45 degrees, bringing them forward with the drop down up to horizontal. It's fine. Thigh swivel is barely there. So it's like, I understand that articulation is important, and I always prefer my figures to be able to do more than is necessary. So if Arnold could do Spider-Man poses as Terminator, perfect for me. I would love that. But realistically, I don't need that for Terminator, and I would rather it look good for this character than to be able to do Spider-Man poses. So I think I'm willing to let it slide on this guy. For his knees, not the best looking knees at all. Not even a little bit. Decent enough range, but very not good knees in terms of the aesthetic. Ankles are... I can't tell if they're ball pegs or ball hinges. I think they're just ball pegs. And they wiggle around. You don't get a ton, but it'll be enough to get him standing, and his toe hinge is acceptable. It's well enough placed, it's not super loose, and it's sculpted okay. So yeah, his articulation's not great by any means, but it will probably be enough for him to stand there and hold his guns. That's my guess. I'll give his articulation rating a 5 out of 10. It's very, very limited. Justifiable, sure, but it is limited regardless. Okay, so time for a final verdict for this guy. Am I thrilled with this figure? Mostly. It's pretty darn good. It looks good and has a buttload of accessories. Is it going to pose in any really fun ways? No, you'll be able to get it to do what you need it to do, but that's really about it. So, don't go into it expecting the wrong things. If you expect what I've just told you, then I think you're going to be really happy. If you expect it to pose really well, then you're going to be probably disappointed. But I'm going to give it an overall rating of, I'm going to go 8 out of 10. I would go higher, but I don't think a lot of the limitations in articulation were necessary. So I have to hold it against him a little bit. Even though it's not really upsetting me personally as a reviewer, it could have been a lot better articulated at no additional cost, really. Just like a couple of extra minutes of thinking in the design phase, I think would have gone a long way. But he still does look really good and comes with some really cool accessories. So I'm still thrilled with it personally, but as a reviewer, 8 out of 10 is the best I can do. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below, but that's it for me, so thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down, and if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day. I missed one day, it was yesterday. But otherwise, I've been doing them every day, so hopefully I can keep that up. And if I don't, I do have thousands of videos already on the channel, so make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.